which is what you are doing here. Is that what's called, counterinsurgency? COIN?
Yes.
I hear the acronym a lot. I hear it used a lot here, COIN. I guess what we need to understand for myself and for future reference is, you know, what were the insurgents or Al-Qaeda in Iraq or terrorists, what were they doing that was it driving the populace towards you or away from you? What were they doing, and how was that affected?
Well, I mean, the way that they thrive is on chaos. If they can show, they show lack of security, like they control critical infrastructure. Like Al-Qaeda was controlling the sewer pump stations, the electrical substations, the water treatment facilities. They understood, just as we do, that by controlling the people, you control the fight. They obviously would, you know, they no caring of whether they hurt civilian or Marine personnel. You know, they would blow up Marines, trying to get a response from the Marines that would endanger the lives or kill civilians. And those circumstances happen. Innocent people have died in this city from Marine bullets. It's a tragedy. However, at that time, unavoidable for the Marines. Like, they're defending themselves, but Al-Qaeda wanted that. They wanted to paint that picture of Marines as monsters coming to destroy their city, destroy their way of life, destroy their religion, everything like that. And they were successful for a very long time. Okay.
So the insurgency or Al-Qaeda or the terrorists or whoever, they were actually having a success. So they were driving that division between the populace of the city and
Absolutely.
the Marines. And I assume the Marines at that time weren't really working very closely with the Iraqis, so I assume they were a bit intimidating with all their gear and weapons and whatnot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just anywhere. I mean, you know, imagine in your hometown some guy walking by in full body armor with a weapon. Like, anybody would be legitimately scared from that. We're unapproachable at times, and that comes down to basic training of just your lowest grade Marines. It doesn't take a good Marine to walk down the street and scowl and I guess eye fuck everyone you see. It takes a guy with a large amount of courage and self-confidence to walk down the street, understand that he is constantly in threat, but smile at everyone, treat them like human beings, and then when a threat presents itself, take care of business. So
okay. So was it the terrorists that kind of helped split the division between them and the populace? And if so, how did they go about doing that? I mean, it seems like they were in real control for a while. They were really successful.
Well, I think the Marines just took advantage of every opportunity they had to show the populace that they were here to help. And while they were doing that, the terrorists just kept bringing themselves more and more away from the populace with murder and intimidation campaigns, destroying local infrastructure. I mean, you got to think, an IED in the street, along with blowing up a Humphrey, destroys the sewer system. So they just as they were made the people more disenfranchised with them, the Marines just slowly creeping up, taking advantage of that gap, and showing them, like, okay, like, you know, you people are starting to see the light, like, we're here to help. All right, so start to understand that.
Okay, so the terrorists thought that by destroying the sewer and the electricity, they were going to say, see, the Marines are here, this is how bad it is, and
Absolutely.
they're causing it. But
an insurgency thrives on the people wanting things. If a city is happy and they have everything they need, then there's no point for an insurgency. But if people are struggling to get food, struggling to get power, struggling to get water, and the Marines is the most obvious presence in the city, then of course that aggression, that aggravation, that feeling of helplessness is going to be directed toward that organization that's present.
Okay. I think there was an example you told me earlier, just how far terrorists were going. Apparently, I guess they were very orthodox form, and you were saying something about a coffee shop.
Yeah, they would. There's a coffee shop up by the Euphrates in my zone. They didn't want the people to enjoy anything. Obviously, they are very religiously minded. They went up. They threw everything he owned into the river, broke every window in the shop. They would throw water pumps that the people used to grow produce for their farms into the river. They're just destroying everything. Control the market. I mean, those are the things. You control the economy. You control the infrastructure, and you control the people. And that's how they were successful for as long as they were.
Okay, but they in themselves alienated themselves from the people.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll get back on track. I appreciate the background. We really needed that in order to understand, like I said, how the augmentation works and its success. Could you tell us kind of, I guess in the beginning, maybe like the first couple months, really what it is that the area operation looked like, and what task you were given in the beginning?
We basically came into the area and just the victim of 4 years of conflict, sewage lakes on the streets. People couldn't drive their vehicles or walk through. No electricity whatsoever. Water supply was a major issue. My area, which is farms, no agricultural produce whatsoever, just barren fields. No jobs. The economy, prices were outrageous. The black market was running everything. And that's the situation we walked into. And basically, the way myself and the other augmentation teams have looked at it is you're a mayor of your AO. You're not just the military security. You're responsible for everything that happens inside of that area. So immediately we started attacking on all fronts, taking care of sewer problems, trying to get the water supply fixed, trying to get the electricity up. At the same time, providing food for people, starting to get things going for medical facilities, medical supplies, education, all those things, just to start to begin to build that quality of life for the Iraqi people.
Okay. What did the actual compounds look like? I mean, how many joint stations were there, and security stations? What did that look like at that time?
Initially, in Lima Company's AO, we had Sabotage or 17th Street, which is more of a kind of a marine installation.
Sabotage, that's Arabic for
17.
Okay.
They were located there, co-located with the IPs and the Iraqi Army. This station, Jamia, was opened up. We had a lieutenant and a corporal from 1/6, Lieutenant Trepto and Corporal Shu.
That was the battalion that 137 relieved. Okay.
Correct. They were here working kind of as I can't even think of the word right now. Instructors or supervisors of the Iraqi police.
Much like the Vietnam model, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
And they had Marines that came here, but basically what they were doing was providing the security, and then they would rotate out with another squad. So 2 Marines had all the interaction with the IPs, where the other Marines weren't really interacting all that much. And then second, we had Azizia, which had just been built up by the Iraqis with no support from the Marines. And we were waiting on that to become the defense situation, the fortifications to get better before we put Marines in there 24 hours a day.
So let me make sure I understand this. You were saying that 1/6 had just an NCO and an officer who jointly worked with the Iraqi police at
Correct.
Jamia. But the other Marines that were there were just strictly there for security. They weren't interacting.
They stood the posts. They stood the posts on the building.
Okay, and at this time right now, the security is not being conducted by Marines here, or is the security? I'm talking about presently.